The NBA is on notice. The Miami Heat, 20 games into this NBA regular season, have exceeded all expectations. I'm here to break down the recent play and how the return of Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and the rest of this crew playing at full health is something to really watch across the board for all teams, East and West, in the association. We'll break down that as well as a few milestones that have been surpassed for Eric Spoelstra, and finally, the upcoming schedule for this Miami Heat team, and really what to expect in the NBA Cup. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest, but first, please do remember, scroll down and do us a favor by clicking that subscribe button. Help us hit our new goal of 3,000 subscribers. We do appreciate it, but now let's get to it and break down the first 20 games in for this Miami Heat team. They currently sit at 14-7 and have been playing very, very well as of late. Their most recent game came against the Detroit Pistons, who, believe it or not, are the number one seed in the entirety of the Eastern Conference at 16-4. They have, in my opinion, have been the biggest surprise, not only in the Eastern Conference, but in the league as a whole, as they are playing a very fun brand of basketball, and it's effective, and it's producing a lot of wins. Now, the Miami Heat just dropped a game to those Detroit Pistons, which was very ironic. It had Eric Spoelstra looking like this a few times in the middle of that game, and I don't blame him. Despite the Miami Heat being at full strength, the Detroit Pistons jumped all over this Miami Heat team. They only ended up winning by 3, 138-135, but if you look through this game, it was interesting for Miami. They were down 22 at one point in the fourth quarter with just 8 minutes remaining when they simply found their rhythm. It felt like all game they were playing down almost to the Detroit Pistons. I know that sounds crazy and ridiculous because how good the Pistons have been up to this point, but we know what this Miami Heat team looks like. Tyler Hero has now returned, and up to this point in the 3 games he has played, he has been pretty damn good. I put his stats somewhere. Here they are. 24 on 7 rebounds. That was the game he had no assist. His first game back, obviously not something we're going to get accustomed to, as we know he is a great facilitator. Following game, 29, 5, and 7. And then against the Detroit Pistons, his third game back. The first loss for the Miami Heat in the last 6 games, and their first loss with Tyler Hero involved in this Miami Heat team and being active, I should say. He had 24 and 4 rebounds with 6 made 3-point shots. But it all came just too late. And I will say Tyler Hero did not shoot all that well from the field in this game, but it turned on when it mattered. And again, it wasn't just Tyler Hero. It was also Andrew Wiggins, who had returned from a hip injury, as well as Norman Powell, who we all know was dealing with a groin injury. It was very minor. He only missed about a half of a game. I don't even believe, or he did miss that next following game, but he came out about the halfway point of that original game. He missed the following game. It felt like this Miami Heat team was just bitten by the injury bug once again for the second consecutive year. That is not the case. Wiggins returns. Bam Adebayo is back. Tyler Hero has played in 3 consecutive games and looks like he has not missed a single beat. There's a lot of conversations about whether or not the fatigue and the ability to condition himself to the level in which the Miami Heat are playing at was going to be in doubt. That has not even been a shadow of a question, as Tyler Hero is running with this team, and it's working out very, very well. Now, up to this point, I mentioned earlier, this was the first Miami Heat loss, it felt like, in a while. If you look at their last 12 games, they were 9-3 over those last 12 games, and they're losing to good opponents. They lost to Cleveland after beating them in overtime. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins for the tip-in with 1/10 of a second left, followed up by a loss to New York. Back-to-back losses, something we're not accustomed to in Miami this season, before rattling off 6 straight wins against decent opponents. Yes, you can argue that Chicago, Philadelphia, Dallas, Milwaukee at that point in the season aren't playing up to the standard everyone's hoping for. But again, Miami's taking advantage of games they are capable of winning, something we did not see last year. Despite being able to get out to double-digit leads, even 20-plus point leads in those games late in the second half, they were throwing games away. That is not something that is really happening this season, not at least up to this point in the year. And it's a credit to not only Eric Spoelstra, who, a credit to him, he just won his 800th game in total coaching wins, moving up in the ranks to the number 16 spot, or I believe 16, yes, the number 16 spot all time in coaching wins. it's only a matter of time until he continues to move up these ranks. We all know this. Eric Spoelstra has been at the helm of the head coaching pedigree, if you will, across the board in the association for a very, very long time. And it's no surprise we find him with 800 career wins as a head coach. Very respectable milestone. And it's a lot of fun to watch. He continues to be great. And now we get to the NBA Cup. This is something the Miami Heat have done very well up to this point, and that's winning big games, meaningful games against Eastern Conference rivals. And up to this point, not only are they currently sitting fourth in the Eastern Conference overall, but they find themselves in the NBA Cup. They have moved on. They will play the Orlando Magic on December 9th. The winner of that will move to the semifinals in Las Vegas and play the winner of the Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks. I will say, the Miami Heat up to this point in the year, I believe we've played Toronto one time very, very early. I could be wrong. I think I am wrong. I don't think we've played Toronto yet. But we've played Orlando as obviously our opening day game. And if you look at the upcoming schedule for this Miami Heat team, they play the 5th. And then again, that Tuesday, December 9th game, which is 2, 3, 4, 5 games away, will be that NBA Cup game we referenced earlier. If you look at the upcoming schedule, today is December 1st. It will be a homecoming game, if you will. It'll be at home for Norman Powell, but against his last year's team in the Los Angeles Clippers, who the Miami Heat just played recently. Again, Dallas Mavericks, Orlando, Sacramento, Orlando again, and then at Orlando, at Brooklyn, at Boston, at New York. This is another very, very favorable part of the schedule, and it may feel odd or it just feel different to say that because of the teams you were looking at, but the Clippers don't have Kawhi 99% of the time. Norman Powell played very well in the first game against the Los Angeles Clippers, and now the Heat find themselves at full strength. Dallas is unfortunately just a dumpster fire right now. Anthony Davis did return, so that game is going to look a lot more different in the sense of the matchups in comparison to Khalil and Bam Adebayo. It'll be great basketball. But these are games the Miami Heat can absolutely win. LA, Dallas, Orlando is going to be scrappy every single time the Heat and Orlando play this year. They're an in-division rival, in-conference rival, in-state rival. That is how those games should go, and that's how they will go, at least this season. Sacramento is burning. Everyone is getting traded from Sacramento. Sabonis, DeRozan, Levine, they're all gone. It's just a matter of time. So, again, another good opportunity for the Heat. Orlando again. Brooklyn, stop Michael Porter Jr. They don't have Cam Thomas right now. If they can limit MPJ, they should win by 160 points. Boston, playing with just Jaylen Brown, it feels like right now he is trying to do it by himself. And then again, at New York, someone the Miami Heat have already played and been successful against this season. So again, the 5-15 Clippers in the Miami. They played very, very well up to this point, and honestly, going forward, I think they can have a lot of success in this, not only in the NBA Cup going forward, but as well as for the rest of this NBA season, going into the All-Star break towards the end of December and into January. Without a doubt, based off the upcoming games, they are going to be favored in the vast majority of them. It shouldn't be a surprise. They are playing extremely well, not only on the offensive end, but also on the defensive side of things. Khalil Ware has found his footing in his rhythm defensively. We know offensively, and the ability to defensive rebound has been just lights and bounds better than we all really hope for, even though the bar was set so high because of how bad the rebounding was for this Miami Heat team. Bam Adebayo returned, and look at the defense. The defensive three-point percentage, first in the NBA. Blocks, again, bottom 10 of the league. But if you look at the steals produced, almost 10 per game. Rebounding, top 10 in the NBA. Things are starting to click for this Miami Heat team on all cylinders, and it's going to result in a lot of great basketball going forward, like we've seen up to this point. And just keep this in the back of your mind to wrap up this video. Tyler Herro and the rest of this Heat team. Herro has played 3 games with this Heat team this season. They've lost 1 game. Okay, it was a scrappy game. It didn't work for the Heat for 3.5 quarters, and then it flicked on, and Detroit almost threw away that game. Outside of that, this Heat team looks unstoppable on the offensive end, and now they are healthy for the most part. Norman Powell doesn't have much of a groin issue. He is back. He is playing. Andrew Wiggins, back from the hip injury. Tyler Herro, back. Again, only 3 games in. Khalil Ware, Bam Adebayo are healthy and back in the lineup. These guys are going to be able to find a rhythm, play more games, obtain more reps alongside one another, and they are going to only get better. This is going to be a treat to watch, and the NBA should be on notice going forward for this Miami Heat team. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next episode of Heat Digest.